day, Ruskin enjoys. Hope you're doing alright. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. And, well, I certainly hope this Rust all works out alright. It's not particularly in a terrible position, and I'll explain that in a second, but yeah, those skins aren't selling very well, are they? We are past the 24-hour mark, and, I'll just refresh right here in front of you. I guess it might have changed a little bit there. But yeah, those skins aren't selling very well, are they? At first glance, when people first saw this Rust store, the general consensus was, eh. We did see some interesting collection continuations, but people aren't exactly super thrilled. Okay, it is what it is. But maybe there's a reason why these particular skins were chosen. Oh, we got an interesting topic for today's video. Yes. But let's also just quickly go ahead and showcase to you the first 24 hours of sales. I'm always posting that on my Twitter. And yeah, top selling skin, Gothic Veil Garage Store, just over 3,000 subscribers, right? Just over 7,300. Is that it? Oh. So I question, could the Garage Store even reach 20,000 subscribers? It kind of is looking doubtful. But you know what? Is it really a bad thing for us, the Ruskin investors? No, not really. No. Actually, it's not that bad. So let me explain. We could see some sequels, some collection continuations being produced. Maybe it happens instantly. These skins were accepted. Maybe we'll see another Gothic Veil door being made instantly this weekend. Keep an eye out. But, maybe another No Mercy skin at some point. More Hellcore. Is it going to happen instantly? Are we going to see an actual acceptance happen immediately? Or will it happen eventually? Maybe they've got to figure out what the right type of skin is that could entice Face Punch to choose them. Or maybe it won't happen until a random point in the future. A random point in the future? What are you on about? Well, let's just say, if we actually see a collection continuation being accepted, of course, these skins, they might spike in demand. They might spike in interest. And what usually happens then? Oh, of course, they get bought out. They spike in demand, they spike in price. Oh, that's ever so nice. So in short, okay, there might be a lack of sales. All the better for these to rise up in price in the future. But what do I mean specifically when I say like randomly in the future? Well, to be a little bit more precise, maybe something like a Complete the Sets Rust store. Okay. Well, you saw the thumbnail. You saw the title of the video. You know exactly what we're here to talk about. But I'm just giving you like some context. So at the very least, you should look on the Rust Workshop right now. You might notice, oh wow, we got some interesting looking auto turret skins being submitted. But of course, keep an eye out for all like the collection continuations that have been accepted so far. Space-based sheet matador, naval camo jacket. I would have reason to believe a lot of people might be interested in that, considering all the acceptances we've had so far for this collection. So, okay, that's cool. But a Complete the Sets Rust store. Why do I bring that up? Well, if we could just quickly switch over to here. Oh, I'm on the official Ruskin Making Discord, which is linked in the description, by the way, so just scroll down and you'll see it. So yes, the official Ruskin Making Discord has had an announcement. As you can see right here, no skins will be due June 2nd for June week 2. Why is that? Because they're going to have a Complete the Sets Rust store. Okay, we finally got to the point. So for June week 2, we're going to have Complete the Sets. Now, it is set for just 1 week, but don't be too surprised if we potentially see 2 weeks. We'll see. I'm still under the assumption we'll probably have another Complete the Sets later this year. In the past, we've had one like early in the year and late in the year. That's happened before. But usually that happens around May time. Either way, it's close enough. So, all right, cool. Let's just enjoy this. Let's look forward to the potential to see some interesting collections, finally getting those sequels that never happened. But what is actually eligible? We'll talk about that in a second. But could I just also sit here and say real quickly, the focused item of the month for June 2026 is the bolt action rifle. And of course, we just saw it a second ago, the auto turret is the brand new Skinnable. So there's a fairly decent chance you might see a collection continuation of this and the bolt action rifle appearing in the Complete Sets Rust store. So you probably got a good idea now what to look for. But of course, there's also like clothing and armor. So, alright, cool. So let's now switch out of here, back to here, and now I want to introduce to you a collection I set up. This is not official. This is the Complete the Sets candidates. Now, I've actually made a video of this in the past, so if I could just quickly remind you, remember this? That was back in 2024. I think I got the same amount of hair. Anyway, so I've discussed about this before. This collection's been around for a very long time now. About 3 years. 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. And I've just been slowly adding more and more and more things to it. And funnily enough, when I found out about the Complete the Sets Rush store being announced for next month, I went back and looked at this again, and some of the skins I picked out actually have been accepted. So I had to remove them and replace them. So let me just explain this collection. First of all, this will be linked in the description. Please consider looking down right now. Please consider looking at it. There's 241 skins listed, but I'm not exactly sitting here and saying these are the skins that are the candidates. Whilst they are, they're actually the representatives of their collection. So, look, here you go. Shadowborn Locker. That's a perfectly fun suggestion. But what I actually mean to say is that you could look at this. So go to its actual page right here. All you have to do is just scroll down. You might notice, oh, hang on a minute. There's a Shadowborn collection link right here. So if you click that, and if we could just scroll down, it's not just the locker that wasn't accepted. There's also potentially the armored double door. So this is something you ought to go ahead and check for yourself. As you go through all these skins in this list, in this collection, you'll see that they actually have a big collection behind them as well. Glacial Visage, that's been around for a very long time. And that locker looks really cool. That looks really nice. And if I look at the actual collection itself, are there any other skins? Well, we also happen to have the Sheep Metal Double Door, we've got the Furnace, we've got, of course, Locker, and we've got a more up-to-date Furnace. So either of them could be picked, but maybe the version 2. We'll see. No, that's your opinion. Feel free to tell me which one you prefer. So yes, I'd recommend you start looking around, and you know what? You can sit there right now, and you can comment below, pick out 3 or 5 skin collections. You could be precise, you could be very specific, but pick out some collections and tell me, what would you absolutely adore to see a sequel appear? And again, if you actually look for yourself, you'll notice that there's other skins available. Look, here's a fairly recent option, the Wild Hunt Bearskin Rug. I remember quite literally asking for this. I thought it'd be a very cool idea, and to be honest with you, it does. Well, that's my opinion. I asked for it. Anyway, if you look over to here, you also notice we have some other skins that are never accepted. We've got the large box. Like, we've got the deer skull mask. Deep skull mask. It's supposed to be deer skull. Anyway, you get the idea. So, yeah, there's other options available. Just start looking around. Feel free to comment below. Tell me what you'd absolutely crave to see. So that's something nice to look forward to. What I thought I should also discuss is the behaviour with Complete the Sets Rush stores. Because some of you might sit there and say, so you mentioned profit earlier, right? You said, we could have a bit of spike in demand, spike in price. Could I capitalise on this? You probably could, but it's a bit of a lottery. You don't know what's going to get accepted. That's the fun part. We ought to do a bingo about this, won't we? But yes, just look around. You notice a lot of interesting collections being mentioned. In some instances, I do have multiples of a certain collection and whatnot. I was just trying to get like a decent option for every single item that exists and all that. In fact, do we have a bolt action rifle anywhere? I don't think I don't. Oh, well, like I said, if it's the focused item of the month, we've got to try and figure out what bolt action rifles were posted before, and we should see if they could potentially be accepted. I'm just saying. So, all right, cool. But let's actually go ahead and learn from the behaviour. So, just to be a little bit more clear, what I'm saying is what tends to happen when we have a Complete the Sets Rush store. So this was last year's August Complete the Sets Rush store. This also happened to be the 10-year anniversary of the first workshop skins being accepted in the Rush store. So, as you might notice, bloody pants, they were made especially for this. Because 10 years before this, we had the bloody hoodie, which of course you can see right there. So yeah, lots of people were super thrilled to see that. That went up to like $10, and as time went on, oh dear. Anyway, one thing I want to address to all of you is that we do tend to see recent submissions being accepted. Not always, but it does happen. So out of all of these, we've only got like one early pick, which was the military storage wooden double door. That was submitted just a few days before. Again, you might mention this, but that was made especially for this store. So the reason why I went over to here and I was sitting here and saying, keep an eye on the workshop for the next few weeks, some of the collection continuations very likely could be accepted for this upcoming Complete Sets Rush store. Well, if I go to micro522.com, especially for this, right? Some of you might be questioning the choices of this recent Rush store. Well, you know what? Maybe it's because they're holding back and saving some of those collection continuations, as I said, for the proposed Complete the Sets Rustore. No Mercy Electric Furnace. This was like the 10th highest scoring skin based on how the Steam Workshop works. Basically, upvotes versus downvotes, the amount of favourites, the views and whatnot. What I'm saying is we've got some other interesting collection continuations here that could have been accepted, but weren't, but are still perfectly fine candidates to appear for Complete the Sets. So I'm just saying, you never know. You never know. Maybe we could see some very interesting skins potentially being accepted. Maybe these in particular were held back. Who knows? Okay? But they're perfectly viable. So again, feel free to comment below. What would you like to see being accepted? Oh, well, there you go. Now, I know a certain armour is going to get posted a lot. I can already tell. I'm fully well aware. But yes, it's not just that one, though. There's plenty more, I'm just going to say. Anyway, so the Behaviour. We've just pointed out that chances are, with the recent Rustore we got, maybe they're just kind of holding back, and then they might go pretty crazy when we get the actual Complete the Sets Rustore. As you might notice, this is a very, very, very big Rustore, okay? There's a lot of skins accepted. So take that into consideration, and let's see what happens next week and the week after with those Rustores, and then we'll eventually see the Complete the Sets Rustore for week 2 of June. Let's also point out, when these skins appear, yes, they do tend to cause a nice spike in demand, spike in price. But the actual skins themselves, they don't always work out perfectly fine. So as you might notice, we had 2 jackets last year. We had Legacy Kevlar jacket and we had Camouflage jacket. When both of these appeared, yes, we saw spikes in demand, spikes in price, and it was very, very nice. So if I could probably just go ahead and look at like the hoodie and pants here, for example, they've recently recovered quite nicely. So let's go ahead and look at the pants. Let's go back to August 2025. Yeah, I remember where I am. So did this rise up quite nicely? Well, I'm looking over to here. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. It was just in a... whoop. Oh, I wonder what caused that around August 21 and August 22. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some interesting clothing armour potentially being accepted for the June 2026 Complete the Sets. Who knows what it's going to be, though? You've got to start looking around. But, you know, that was nice. What about Camouflage? So when this jacket appeared, did we see like the hoodie and pants here also do very nicely? In fact, let's go ahead and look at these pants. I will remind all of you, though, the pants and the hoodie are already expensive. But, you know, let's just go back to the past. Let's go to... Oh, yeah, I can see it right there. So, it's... Whoop. Now, to be honest with you, it doesn't look as if... Oh, no, it is. Look at that, yeah. So, it was going up quite nicely. Again, it was already expensive, so, yeah, it does kind of shoot up. Okay, cool. So, yes, we saw a nice reaction. But you also might notice that's in the positive, and that's not in the positive. That's down by almost half its price. Unfortunately, these type of things do happen. You can't just instantly assume, just because it caused all the other skins to spike a spike a price, that also instantly become a nice investment. So, okay, understandable. Don't pressure yourself to jump in and buy it like crazy. Like, listen, if you see a skin that you like, of course, go buy one for yourself. Treat yourself, all right? But if you're just instantly assuming everything's going to be A-okay and wonderful to jump in and invest, well, I will sit here and say I did buy a bunch of these and I did buy a bunch of these, and let's just say I'm quite happy these worked out very nicely because it helps cover the costs of what I lost here. Yeah. But, you know, we've got some other skins here like Polymer L96. Ooh, even the pants here, you know. Everybody thought bloody collection was going to become a thing. Like the Skin Creator did make a tier 3 attempt. Didn't happen, unfortunately. But these were really high in price, weren't they? If you were there, you'd remember. So, again, let's just quickly go take a look at this. You can see the reaction, but eventually it did go back down in price again. And my apologies for not showing these in like dollars USD. The extension isn't working properly. But look at that. Look at that reaction. I'm not joking. This did go over $10. Didn't last though. So ever since then, it's been slowly going back down. Still better than where it was before, but you know. Anyway, so point made, understood. But just take a look around. To be honest with you, quite a lot of these skins are actually doing quite alright at the moment. That's actually very nice to see. And I should say, we have noticed a lot of prices rising at the moment during May 2026. I, of course, made a video last week discussing just this. The pre-summer surprise. Let's see if June holds up as well. And of course, we tend to see prices peak around July and August. But then after that, September, October, November, the autumn-fall seasonal dip. But then after that, Christmas and post-Christmas, it's great again. So just be aware of how things work out. So new armor is accepted, didn't work out. A new SAR was accepted, oh boy, oh dear. But honestly, the majority of these things did work out quite nicely. Oh look, Skull Killer boots. They sold not that much. And in comparison to the rest of the set, well, I do believe that's the lowest selling skin. But because it's clothing and armor, well, that just quadrupled in price. Yep. So things like that can happen. It should be quite easy to read if it were to happen again, and we can always reference back to this. But you look at the opulent boots, and well, they only did about 5,000 subscribers. So I look over to here. Does it match up nicely with the rest of the set? But surprise, surprise, it actually is one of the lowest selling skins, and yet that didn't go quadruple in price, did it? So again, it's not super easy to tell. You got to learn, Hedge. Just because one thing looks pretty clear doesn't mean everything else will be. So yeah, that's quite contradicting. Well, got to learn, and sometimes you've got to, take a bit of a risk. Anyway, so that's all nice and cool. I hope you understand. Yes, we expect a very big reaction. We expect to see a very big store, but not everything in this store will work out perfectly fine. And you know what? We could probably go ahead and also take a look at the surprise complete the sets rustors we had late last year. So if you aren't fully well aware, we were supposed to have the naval update. That was supposed to happen in November 2025. It got delayed by a month. So then we're expecting it for December Force White. It got delayed again. Okay. But we were expecting naval skins. Like all the skins that had been submitted just before we had December Force Wipe 2025 were naval skins. What do? Surprise, complete the sets. Okay, cool. So we had 2 complete the sets rustors, and we did see some very nice looking skins. Oh, yes, indeed we did. But again, look at it all again. Yeah, we do see quite a lot of positivity at the moment, but not everything worked out perfectly fine. And of course, with some of the skins that appeared here, we did see some spikes in demand, spikes in price, and it was very, very nice. But in terms of clothing and armor, we only really got the tier 2 here. But I will confirm to you, with this arriving, oh yeah, all of this just went up in price. Very nice. Yes. So that actually has managed to complete itself. That was very nice. And yeah, some of these skins individually did look very promising. Heat Seeker Sap, I instantly noticed they had a transparent aim sight, which isn't that surprising, to be honest with you, because all the other Heat Seeker skins have had transparent aim sights and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But funnily enough, this took a while to actually rise up in price. Right now, this is comfortably around $7. And as you'll notice, this came out half a year ago, and it didn't exactly do amazing initially. Suffered for a while, and it rose up. But it didn't rise up that much. But it's been slowly trending upwards more and more and more. We've recently just had the Easter dip. But wow, this has just gone up higher and higher. So, okay. Maybe it might take a while for some of these skins to really kick off and work out very nicely. But yes, I think we're just basically rambling now. You get the idea. But then over to here, yeah, more interesting. Various skins, mostly weapons and tools, deplorables. So, yeah, I'm not sure if we're definitely going to see a bunch of clothing and armor. When it's like a prepared, pre-announced, complete the sets, we do tend to see a lot more clothing and armor. So I could also go back to the previous year's complete the sets. Let's go see that. Complete the sets 2024. There you go. Clothing and armor, backpack, and just some boots. Well, to be honest with you, I was kind of expecting more. But then again, there's 2 backpacks, and I guess they count as clothing and armor. Let's go to 2023. Yeah. Let's go take a look at that one. There you go. Complete the sets. And what do I see here? Tier 3. I've got just a chest plate there. Got a random kilt. Got a pair of boots. Yeah, that quite literally did complete quite a fair bit. And then, of course, 2022. You get the idea. So, I hope your expectations are reasonable. I hope you're not just instantly assuming everything's going to be super amazing. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some interesting designs finally being accepted. So, again, consider looking at the Complete the Sets Candidates collection. Not everything here specifically is what I'm pointing out. It's the collections themselves. But you never know. Maybe we could actually see a target. Maybe we could see something different, something we don't normally see. What about a chair and table combination? We've got 2 right there. Maybe we could see something we haven't seen that much this year, like a jacket. But we've only had 1 so far this year, so I'm just saying, it might be pretty cool. Guess we could get a backpack from the past. They've been around for a while. Maybe we could get some primitive skins. Yes, you are looking at Forest Raiders burlap clothing right there. Will it happen? What about a white jacket? So, yeah, we've got some very, very interesting options. Some very, very, very interesting clothing and armor pieces. But for all the people sitting there hoping for camouflage, well, you know, Face Punch appears to be very, very averse to accepting certain camouflage skins. So, yeah, honestly, tell me your wish list. You could have reasonable expectations, or you could just sit there and pour your heart out and tell me how desperately you need certain skins. How many times are people going to bring this up? How many times are people going to bring this up? So, thank you very much for watching the video. It was mostly just a highlight to keep you aware and keep you informed of what to expect and what not, but also to keep you informed of the possible candidates. I have no idea what's going to get accepted, but I certainly look forward to finding out. I don't look forward to feeling disappointed. So, it's all part of the fun. Is that the temple collection you keep commenting about? Is it that right there? Is that what you keep asking for? No. I see through you. I know you're all just joking. I know you don't actually want to see the temple collection getting any sequels or what. Nah. Oh yeah, no, surely not. No, not this. It's not as if you're commenting in every single video I have saying where's Temple Tier 2 and hoodie and pants and boots and gloves. No, it's all just a big joke. I get you. I know exactly what you actually want for like complete the sets. You're gonna have like a Tier 3 set from 8 years ago that's all rusted or whatnot. Yeah, that's what you actually want. You don't want this. No. You know what? I'll sit here and say it. I reckon you don't even deserve it. There you go. Oh, so many times and opportunities it could have been accepted, but you know what? They probably look at you, all of you, always complaining, and they probably thought, no, they don't deserve it. So you know what? I'm going to take it away from you once again. There you go. It's gone.